In date book, in the pink section, there's a big old picture of her pretty face, and she's fresh. Check it out, she's fresh. Yeah, give her a round of applause. Producers who does her own shows all over the country. Give it up for the very beautiful. This is Tina Kim, ladies and gentlemen. Tina Kim.
All right. Hey, thanks, Mo. Thanks, Mo. Thanks, Mo. All right. Good to be here. Okay, woo! Good to be here, yeah. It's getting late, and at least you guys know I'm not Margaret Cho, you know? Woo! Yeah! Thanks for the applause. I've never met Margaret Cho. People always ask me. I never met her, but she did inspire me to be a stand-up since I never saw Asian before. So, you know, because of that, I'm doing stand-up. And Margaret Cho, actually, I saw a video of her recently, and she looks fantastic. She's very skinny. She weighs about 100 pounds now. Yeah, you know, fuck that bitch for losing weight, you know? You know, now I'm the fat Korean comic. It was good there for a while when I was the thinner one, you know? Well, I'm Korean. Any other Koreans here tonight? Oh, awesome. Okay, good. Okay, how about the Chinese people? Okay, good. And the Vietnamese? Good, I fucking hate the Vietnamese. Oh, you were gonna clap? Your Vietnamese, get the fuck out. You know what I mean? Get the fuck out. And I guess Japanese? Get the fuck out, you know, I'm Korean. I don't like Japanese people. I just got to San Francisco, and I swear, the Chinese people, they're crazy. I rode the bus out here, and I guess since it's Chinatown, it's all Chinese people on the bus. And this is a true story, guys. I get on the bus, I sit down, and then the old Chinese man next to me, he actually lifted his butt up and farted on me. And I sat back down. You guys, it's not a joke. This is what happened, okay? And I was like, I started giggling, you know, like looking at other people, like, did you see what he just did to me, you know? But everyone else was looking at me like, that's every day, bitch. I was like, I don't think I can get used to that. But it's cool. I mean, Chinese people, you guys are lucky, because I always think, you know, that if you're Chinese, it's easy for you, because what's the first thing people ask you when they see you, right? It's like, hey, you Chinese? And so when you're Chinese, you're like, yes, I am. Then you just walk away, you know what I mean? You don't have to talk to that fucker again, you know what I mean? You just walk away. That's the end of the story. See, when you're not Chinese, see, all my life growing up, right, people are like, you Chinese? No. You Japanese? No. You Vietnamese? Like, shit, if only I was Chinese, I could get this over with. You know, eventually people get to the Korean part, right? You know, so eventually they get there. But I was thinking, I feel sorry for the people who are Laotian. Wouldn't that suck? They'd be there all night, you know what I mean? That white person would be like, damn, let me get the map, you know? Shit, where are you from, you know? Get the globe, spit in it. And then finally that person's like, look, I'm Laotian. Right? And he's like, huh? You from the ocean? That sucks. Then we were all like, oh yeah, you're Korean, what's that thing you eat? It's all spicy with the cabbage. Yeah, kimchee. I like it. You know? Like, I don't give a fuck, you know what I mean? What am I supposed to say? I'm like, okay, yeah, and you are Irish? Yeah. Well, I like the moon and the stars. I had Lucky Charms for breakfast. Thank you, yes. That's what I like. But I've been all over the world, and see, everywhere I go, men always say the same thing to me. Men are always like, oh, you're Korean? I've dated a Korean girl before. But wow, what a coincidence. I've talked to an ugly white guy before. Yes, thank you. Clap, ladies. Yeah, that's right. That's right. We all get that, don't we? It's always the ugly white guys that say that, too. Piss me off, you know what I mean? And I'm down with white guys. It's cool. I'm not prejudiced, right? But it's never a good-looking white guy, you know what I mean? I mean, if it's a guy that looks like Brad Pitt, right? I'd be like, oh, right? It's always the ugly ones. It just sucks. It does. And I am single, and see, when I was younger, I had a list of all the things I wanted a guy to have, and I'd be like, ooh, that'd be my ideal guy. You know, you have that big list, right? And see, as a woman, the older you get, you realize you have to lower your standards, see? So every year you get older, the standards get lower, you know what I mean? At this point in my life, I only have one thing on the list that I need the guy to have, right? I'm just looking for a man who will call me back. That's it. Okay? That's right. You got one eye, I don't give a fuck. If you're going to call me back, that's all that matters, you know? I just need a man that I can trust. That's all it takes. Like, hey, you going to call me back? All right, check. Let's get married. I just need trust. And then it's like, then I got to that part where I figure I'll just date ugly guys, right? I figure the uglier he is, the better he's going to treat me. That's right, and I see some of you ladies on a date know what I'm talking about, okay? But don't agree because you're gonna know. See, the few single girls are like, yeah, because the girl over there's like, yeah, oh, so it's cool, you can just give me the look, I know he's ugly, yeah. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's true though, isn't it? You figure that the uglier that the guy is, the better he's going to treat you. And then I learned a valuable lesson. It's that ugly guys, right? They don't call you back either. And I realized that's the worst thing that can ever happen to me. That is the worst feeling I've ever had in my life. Because think about it, when a good-looking guy doesn't call you back, you don't trip. You're like, whatever. He's good-looking. He got a social life. Slipped his mind. You know, you forget about it, you know? But when an ugly guy doesn't call you back, yeah, you don't forget, you know what I'm saying? That day, he doesn't call you back. At first, you're not worried, you know? You're like, oh, he gonna call because he ugly, okay? He's just a little late. He gonna call, he ugly. He gonna call, right? You're not tripping, he ugly, he gonna call. You know what I mean? You know he's gonna call. And then after it's been like 2 hours, you're actually concerned about that ugly guy. You know what I'm like, oh, I hope that ugly's okay, you know? Hope something didn't happen to his car or something, you know? The Star Trek convention's over. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I hope he's okay. And I'm worried about that ugly guy. And after it's been like 8 hours, right, my concern, it turns into anger. You know, I'm like, what the fuck, all right? How dare that ugly not call me back? I lowered my standards. And you're thinking, I lowered my standards and I can't sleep at night and I'm tossing and turning and I'm like, screw this. Now I gotta go stalk that ugly, you know what I mean? I gotta find out what happened. No ugly gonna get, you know, not call me back. And that's what you do, because you gotta know, because they're ugly. There's no excuse. And I see I'm not the only stalker in this room because we've all been there. That is the worst feeling in life. And you know, I haven't tried the internet. It seems like everyone does that, but I don't do that anymore. But the one time I tried it, I did it when I lived in New York City. And I met this guy for dinner. At the end of the dinner, right, when the bill came, he told me that he forgot his wallet. And then I was like, Asian bitches don't pay. Thank you, ladies. That's right. Asian women, we don't have to pay, okay? Because we're exotic. Thank you. Thank you. That's right. That's right. Yeah, because they were like, why don't you have to pay? Because I'm like, look, because I'm exotic. You know, it's the dumbest thing. Because if I'm with the guy in bed, he's like, oh, Tina, you're so exotic. You're a freak in bed. You're wild. You're a freak. It's like, dude, I'm just laying here. Eating my cup of noodles. You know what I'm saying? Guys go crazy. Okay, so back to my story. So I had to pay for the dinner, right? The bill came in. It was almost $150. That's right. I ordered up, okay? I didn't think I was going to fucking have to pay. I ordered up. You know, I hadn't worked out that day to have a bigger appetite, you know what I mean? I planned in advance. Yeah, I was pissed off. I had to pay for this dinner. So considering I paid for it, right? It's like I was like, you know, since I paid, yeah, you better believe it. I made him put out. you know? It's like I didn't even want to get jiggy with him, but I was thinking about my $150, you know? I'm like, I gotta get my money's worth, you know? There's no time for dessert and coffee, it's time to get jiggy, you know what I'm saying? And so then I brought him home, we get back to my house, and then this guy, he starts taking his clothes off. It's like, oh no, fool, this ain't about you, okay? I paid. That's right, this is my time, and you're going downtown. That's right, downtown. Thank you, thank you, thanks. I know some Asians don't know what I mean when I say downtown. Because there are a lot of Asians here, and you know, sometimes I know you don't know what I mean, so I'll rephrase it for you. I meant Chinatown. Woo, Chinatown. Because all Asians know where Chinatown is. And I tell that guy, you got 2 hours, buddy, so you better get to work. Yeah, and you don't get any water either. I don't want to hear any fucking complaints. And I love guys with big buff arms. That's my biggest turn on in life is biceps and triceps. So I like guys with big arm muscles, okay? That really turns me on. That's what I love in a guy. Because if I'm in bed with the guy, I'm focused on your upper body, you know? And you know how women actually complain about men who go to the gym and they only lift on the top and men have chicken legs? They complain about that, right? And I see nothing wrong with that. Because as far as I'm concerned, the man that I'm with, right, he doesn't even have to have legs. That's right, what are the legs good for, right, ladies? I mean, I don't touch your legs if you're on top of me, right? I'm not touching your ankles going, oh yeah, those fucking ankles. You know, that's the last thing we ever touch, right? We're touching the biceps and the triceps, so if you're on top of me, I'm looking like this, I'm all, That's right, because if he's got buff arms, I gotta lick it. I just can't help myself. But the worst thing, though, isn't it? If a guy's got skinny arms, doesn't that suck? And he takes his shirt off, and it's all skinny and flabby, and I'm all, right? And I'm like, I think you're gonna have to stop, okay? Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do it doggy style this way. That's right. That's right, because I don't need to be touching no flabby arms. That's right. There can only be one person with flabby arms in this relationship. That's right. Thank you, because I am a woman. I got to make sure I feel smaller than the guy. You know? Isn't that how it is? Because I'm a woman, you know? So I only weigh myself once a year. You know what I mean? That one morning after you pee, you take off all your clothes, you shave your legs, trim your pubes, whatever it takes to get the scale to go down. And here's my tip on how to lose 2 to 3 pounds in 20 minutes is to go donate blood. I'm serious, you know, it's like, ooh, that's not funny, that's not weight loss. You know what? As far as I'm concerned, right, the scale goes down, I've lost the weight. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's blood or water loss. I lost the weight and I feel good. Finally lost the pounds. It is, as a woman, you know, that's what you do. And I think about the women in the Middle East, the Taliban women, they might not have any rights, but see, if you're a woman in that culture, you wear that tent. Which means, you know, that's what you wear, which means you can eat whatever the hell you want 24 hours a day because your clothes is never going to get tight, you know what I mean? This is that big old tent. And you just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and you're like, and when you look in the mirror, you're only going to see this. Right? So every time you look in the mirror, you're like, damn, I'm looking good. Because you don't look at this, you see what I mean? Because I don't know how much food you have to eat to gain weight in your eyelids, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, the men there will be like, oh, I don't like that bitch, her lids are too fat. You know, I'm not down with the fatties. Oh, thank you. But I suffer from nighttime motivation. It's always at night before I go to sleep, I'm motivated to work out tomorrow. I don't know what that is, but I'm fucking motivated. You know what I mean? You are motivated. I mean, I lie in bed, I'm like, damn, I'm gonna start working out tomorrow. Yeah. And I'm like, ooh, and I'm gonna start eating right tomorrow as well. Ooh, I'm gonna start my new life. It's gonna be healthy. Right? And I'm like, start starting tomorrow, so you know what? I'll just finish the pie tonight and eat everything that I'm not going to eat anymore. You know what I mean? So I just end up eating everything in the kitchen. Be like, no, I won't eat that cake, so I better finish it now. You know? Because tomorrow I'm motivated. I'm even going to wear my sweats to sleep. You know what I mean? Because when I wake up, I'm going for a run. Nothing's going to stop me. I'm going to set my alarm an hour early. No exercise tomorrow morning. And then you wake up, right, and you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? Jesus Christ. You know, like, why am I in my sweats? You know, you're in a food coma. You know what I mean? And then your stomach's growling because you ate so much last night and it's all stretched out. You're like, damn, I'll just have to work out tomorrow and start tomorrow. That's just the way it is. And when I moved to California from New York, I went to 24-hour fitness, and I didn't know they really are open 24 hours, you know. I thought that was the name. She's like, yeah, we're always open. I'll give you 2 months free, Tina. And I was like, no thanks. I'll go join Bally's. They close at 6 o'clock. You know what I mean? You feel better if you join Bally's and give them hundreds and thousands of dollars or whatever it is. It does, because see, if you join Bally's, you're like, woo, I'm motivated, I'm going to the gym, and you get your gym bag, and you're like, oh, but they closed. So, woo! Oh, well, at least I tried, you know what I mean? And that's all that matters, at least I tried. So it feels better. And I even worked out with a trainer once, and now I know why men curse when they lift weights, is because you get that extra testosterone, right? He had me lift weights, and I couldn't do it. I was like, ugh. Then I was like, you cocksucker, oh, fuck. Right? Isn't that weird? You curse and you lift, and then the trainer I'm with, he's all embarrassed, and he's all, oh, Tina, you need to watch your language when you're working out with me. I was like, oh no, bitch. Okay, for $75 an hour, I'm gonna call you whatever the fuck I want. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of money. And then he's all, Tina, you gotta, take my boxing class. I took his boxing class, and then it's like you have to shadow box for 2 minutes, and I can't do 2 minutes. I stopped, and he's like, why'd you stop? Like, damn, that shadow just knocked me out. You know what I mean? That is too fucking strong for me. Can't fight the shadow. Can't fight him. No. And then he's all like, Tina, you need to have more energy. Why don't you eat a power bar before you get to the gym? And I was like, all right. I ate a power bar. I drank a big glass of water. And then I took a power nap. You know what I mean? Remember, I like to sleep when I'm full. I came to America when I was 4 years old, and growing up, I always wanted to be white. I did when I was younger, I'll admit that. I thought my white friends were lucky. They got to wear shoes in the house. You know what I mean? I was shocked. I thought everybody took their shoes off. I did, right? I was 7 years old. I went to my white friend's house. I started taking my shoes off. And she's all, Tina, we don't do that. And I was like, wow. And so I went home that day, and I kept my shoes on. And I started walking around, and then my mom sees me, and she's all, oh, you think you're white? And I was like, oh, I guess what I'm going to start drinking now and come home pregnant. Thank you. Sometimes I do that joke when I'm in a Mexican room in LA, and they're all like, ooh. And I'm like, what, too fucking close to home? But see, when I was younger, I did always want to be white, see? But see, now that I'm an adult, I know better, right? That's right, I want to be black. Thank you, I say I'm not the only one. It's true, because see, if you're black, life is better, because my black girlfriends, they're the most confident girlfriends I have. You know those kind of black girls, right? I have my one black girlfriend, she's 350 pounds, but she don't give a fuck, you know what I mean? She'll wear her tube top, she's like, girl, I look cute. And I like that confidence. She's like, and I got a man. He's in jail, but I got a man. I like that. I'm like, you go, girl. I want that confidence. I want to be like my black girlfriends, and I want to be able to give people that dirty look that tells them to back the fuck off. If somebody pisses me off, I want to be able to be like, Thanks. Yeah, you know that look, right? It's powerful. But see, when you're an Asian woman, right, and somebody pisses me off, and I'm all, Right. No, people aren't scared of me. You know what I mean? They're concerned for me. They'll actually walk up to me and go, Miss, are you okay? Are you on medication? You need us to call the ambulance? See, I can never do that. I want that attitude my black girlfriends have. And my black girlfriends, right, they always have the nice big bubble butt. Something that I've always wanted. Because see, when you're Asian, there's nothing going on back here. Okay, it's all flat. But there's everything going on over here, you know what I'm saying? It's all in the stomach area. That sucks. That's why it's like, I want that booty. And, you know, it's like Beyonce, J-Lo, it's all about bootylicious, right? And I'm thinking, I can't wait to be famous. Because when I'm famous, all the other women in the world are going to love me because I'm going to bring the stomach in style. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, oh, you know my stomach. It's poochie. Okay, it's poochie-licious up in here. Okay, it's all about the pooch, baby. Poochie-licious. Woo, it's poochie-licious. That's right, baby. And I'll be like, oh, it's in style before it was in style, you know what I mean? The pooch. So you guys will all love me when I bring that in. And it's always hard for me, too, to find clothes because I'm Asian, and then it's like my butt is flat, and it's all here. And it's like I notice now with the low-rise, see, I'm wearing my low-rise now, because, see, in the 80s when the pants were high, you know when to stop eating. Right? In the 80s, you eat, and when you gotta pop that top button, you're like, okay, it's time to stop eating. You know what I mean? Because it cuts off the circulation, and you know it's time to stop. See, now that the pants are low, there's nothing to stop you from eating. You know what I mean? You just keep eating and eating and eating, and you don't realize your stomach is going over the low-rise, right? You know what I mean? But you're thinking, oh, I'm not gaining weight because the low-rise stretch still fit. And it's hard, too, when I go shopping at the Gap or something because they actually label their jeans and they call it long and lean jeans. All right? It's like, yo, you got the short and stumpy jeans? You know what I mean? What the fuck, all right? We're not all long and leans up in here, you know? They actually have to have a section for all the women in the world, right? Cottage thigh jeans, thunder thigh jeans, you know, pencil leg jeans, you know, no, whatever. And then that gay bitch that works at the Gap, right, could have a really fun time judging everybody with this little headset. They'll be like, oh, bitch, the tree trunk section's over there. And here, I just thought that there's that store, too. It's called Forever 21. You know, it's that store for young girls. And then you go in there, and then you see these old bitches. You know what I mean? I'm like, bitch, it ain't Forever 41, okay? You're about 20 years off. And then you always have your girlfriends that complain that they're bloated. And you're like, no, bitch, you've been bloated for 3 years. That ain't bloatation, okay? That is natural fat. You are a fatty. And I'm tired of my girlfriends that complain that they got big bones and that's why they're a fatty. You know, I don't think your fucking thigh bone is the size of a tree trunk, bitch. And they're not going to dig up your bones 10 million years from now. And fucking some archaeologist like, damn, this bitch has big bones! They'll put those bones into that computer, analyze the diet she had. Seems like she ate Big Macs. And she's wearing this thing from the Shaniqua tribe. And I like that commercial on TV, that Zellnorm, where they're like, are you bloated? Are you constipated? They're like, it's not your fault. And I was like, thank God, I didn't think so, okay? This pooch, it ain't my fault. It's irritable bowel syndrome. Okay, I got a medical condition. I can't have a flat stomach, okay? I have a website. See, like 5 years ago, somebody was like, Tina, you should have a website. And I thought, you know, I don't know anything about computers. I can't hire anybody. Then I'm like, shit, I'm Asian. Computer skills will come naturally, okay? What the fuck am I all complaining about? It's true. So I actually built my website myself. I really did. So when you check it out, tinakim.com, you'll be very proud of me. Thank you. Thanks. And when I was building my website 5 years ago, I used to always be on AOL Instant Message. And you know, when you're on Instant Message, you know how people you don't know, they instant message you, and then you'll get that box, and it's like, hi. And you're like, all right. And you're like, hi. And then the next thing they write is, I'm married, is that okay? Right? Did they do that? And I'm like, well, I don't have a vagina, is that okay? Right? And it's like, this user is unavailable. Like, what the fuck? All right, don't contact me and then block me, you know what I mean? Then I'm gonna make another handle and go stalk your ass on the internet. And I hate that shit, but see, back then, 5 years ago, it was so innocent when strangers would instant message you, right? It was just chat. But see, now that there's a webcam, it's much more perverted. And I had no idea what a webcam is. And it's like, now that I got a webcam, if you're on it, then other people will send you a request to see their webcam. And the thing is, I didn't know, so I opened one up for the first time. And of course, it's a guy who has it set up right on his cock when he's jacking. And then they send me a thing going, you like? And I'm like, what the fuck, you know? What? You know, I'm not a cock raider, you know what I mean? I don't rate cocks online. It's pervs. And see, but I thought it was funny, so I would laugh. And so then I got used to it. Every time I get an invitation, I expect to see just this and a guy stroking. I got used to it. So I would open and be like, yep, another cock, yep, just opening. And then one time, though, this guy, he actually had the web camera on his ugly face. You know what I mean? And I opened that shut up, and I'm like, what the fuck? Jesus! I don't need to see your ugly face. You know, don't ruin it for me. Put it back where it belongs and let me finish. I see you guys are the webcam lovers in the room. I don't go to chat rooms, but I realize it doesn't matter how innocent the chat room is, it always comes down to some guy wanting you to see his cock. Doesn't it? I don't know, it just does, because I travel a lot and I go to a geography chat room, maps or something, and I'm like, hey, do you know this location? And then some guy will be like, click here and here's the map to my cock. And every time, like, damn, they get me every time. And then I hate it when I'll get a message that go, are you a man or a woman? And then sometimes I'll go, I'm a man. And then I'll be like, fuck off, faggot! And they're like, why are you getting all offended? It's just, it's just the internet. It's crazy. And then it's like, I moved to California and I had to get new car insurance. And if you go to the Geico website, you can chat with the person that works there. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, hello. And then they're like, hi. And I go, I need car insurance quote. And he's like, are you a man or a woman? And I was like, that's valid, it's car insurance. I'm like, woman. And he's like, great, are you single or married, right? And I'm like, single. He's like, and how old are you? And I'm like, I'm 30. And he's like, is your pussy wet? I'm like, damn, they got me again. Those internet perverts get me every time. And then there's that site Friendster, right? It's just like every Asian is on that site Friendster. Should just be called Asianster, because if you're Asian, you fucking go on Friendster, And the thing on Friendster, though, as an Asian woman, you'll get those dumb white guys that are Asian lovers, right? And then they'll send me a note. It's like, you want to get together and have sex? It's like, look, if I'm to fuck, I'd go on Fuckster, okay? I don't need to go on Friendster. And then there's that site called MySpace, but it seems like all white people are on MySpace, Asians are on Friendster, and then all the crazy people go to Craigslist. And you're clapping because you're the crazy people that are all on the Craigslist. This is a story I told the other night. It's like, I was on Craigslist and I sold my underwear for $500. And it's, I don't know, people like this story. It's like, I was just cruising it, cruising. I was just looking at, because my friend's always like, you gotta look at Craigslist, you gotta do Craigslist jokes. And then I kept seeing this thing that was dollar signs and panties. And so I went, and I said, how much you paying, right? And then he wrote me back, he says, $500 for used panties. And I was like, fine, let me know where to meet your ass. You know what I mean? So I met this guy in like a Safeway parking lot, and he came up to my car, and you know, and then I was like, "You got the money?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he gave me $500. And then it was, you know, I just grabbed clean underwear out of my drawer, and then I just gave it to him. And then it's like he grabs it and he's like running off. And I'm like, "Well, let me know if you need some more." No, it's true. And then I actually followed up too, like, "You like the underwear?" I did. And then he wrote back telling me he hated my underwear because it was clean and that I was no fun. I mean, I don't know, what was I supposed to do? But that was my Craigslist story. But I made $500. So next time I do that, I'll have to poop in the underwear. And then I'm sure he will come back. Thank you. Thank you. People always ask me, "What does your parents think about you doing stand-up?" The good thing is my dad doesn't say anything, but it's my mom. She's always yelling at me. Every time she sees me, my mom's always like, "You're a loser, give it up, go kill yourself." It's true, it's true, it's funny, it's true. That's what my mom says. And then CNN, they did a whole, you know, series on me. They did this thing, and CNN asked me, they go, "Hey, what does your mom think?" And I'm like, "My mom calls me a loser and to go kill myself." No. So it's true, you know? And then, of course, that's the clip they showed, you know, on CNN. And my mom was watching it with all her friends, you know, from the Joy Luck Club. And she's all pissed off, right? She's pissed. And she sees me and she starts throwing pots and pans at me, and she's like, "How dare you say I call you a loser? You loser! Go kill yourself!" I was like, "Look, if you say nice things to me, then I'll tell people that and you'll look like a nice mom," right? And she's like, "You're a hooker! You're worse than a hooker on the streets!" And I was like, "Well, let me write that down. I don't want to misquote you next time. I am a hooker on the street." That's the Asian mom for you, I tell you. And then it's like my mom, sometimes, see, in Korea, they did a story on me in Korea. So that's when my mom was trying to be nice to me, okay? Because they know in Korea. So at that time, my mom was being nice, and she was watching biography on A&E or something. She watched a show about famous comics and how they're all on drugs and they're all on cocaine and things like that. So then after she watches that show, she asked me, she's like, "You do the cocaine?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "That's why you're not famous. You gotta do the cocaine." I told Mom, I'm like, "That's a drug. I don't even make that much money to afford cocaine." You know what I mean? And Mom's like, "I give you the money. You become skinny. You do the cocaine, and you get the famous." And I'm like, "All right, Mom." And then I was just home, right, at my parents' house, did my show in Seattle, and my mom and dad are retired, and they don't go anywhere. They're always at home. Yet my mom, she bought a cell phone, okay? There's no reason for her to have a cell phone. They're home all the time, and the only phone number that's programmed in my mom's cell phone is the home phone number. And she's showing me her cell phone, right? And then she pushes some buttons, and all of a sudden the home phone rings, right? So she puts the cell phone on the table in front of me. And then she goes and picks up the home phone. Hello? Hello? Right. And at first, I didn't know what was going on either, right? So I'm like, "Well, who is it?" Right? So, "Quiet! I hear something." "You say, who is it?" So I realized what my mom did, right? So I look over and I'm like, "It's Tina," right? And then she's all, "Oh, how come you don't say? Tina, it's for you. Get the phone." So there's always yelling and stuff going on at our house. It always seems like we're fighting in our family. But see, my mom yells and my dad's got a hearing aid. So the communication's always kind of weird at our house, you know? Like my dad will see me, it's like, "Your friend Tracy called." I'm like, "I don't have a friend named Tracy. You mean Stacy?" It's like, "Damn you, I said Tracy!" And I'm sure it's Stacy. And I'm thinking, well, luckily my parents have caller ID, you know what I mean? And I go check and it's my friend Bob. I don't know where the hell my dad got Tracy from. And I just went home and I was like, Dad, did you get the mail? He's like, what did you say? And I go, did you get the mail? It's like, you go to hell. And I'm like, I said, did you get the mail? And he's like, you go to hell. And I'm like, fine, then go to hell. And he's like, oh, the mail? It's on the table. You know, we're always arguing like that. And then it's like my dad, when I lived in New York, he was home and he had to take my address down. And I was like, okay, Dad, you got to listen very carefully. I live in apartment B, the letter B, and the number 1. So I live in apartment B1 in New York. And he's like, okay, I got it. It's apartment Bone. That's like, Dad, I didn't say bone, okay? It's apartment B and the number 1, okay, B1. He's like, you go to hell, B-O-N-E! And my dad watches a lot of daytime television, too. My dad is always yelling and yelling at the TV. And he's always watching the Maury Povich show. So it's like, those white people are numbnuts. That's low class. Maury's an idiot. Low class morons. Right? I'm like, well, then just turn it off, you know? I go to turn the TV. I was like, no. I got to find out who the daddy of that Shaniqua is. My dad's addicted, I swear. And then my dad loves to watch Fear Factor. That's another one of my dad's favorite shows. But I noticed on Fear Factor, on Fear Factor, did you notice how they never pick Asian Americans? I never see them on the show. Never. Right. And I thought that was wrong at first until I realized it's called Fear Factor, and they want you to be scared and have fear in your eye. That's right, they don't pick Asians, right? Because of that second round where they supposedly bring out the weird food. Because they make a big deal out of it, don't they? You know, they're like, oh, pig's blood soup, cow intestines, 100-year-old egg. White, black, Mexican people, they show their reaction when they see the food. They're like, ah! I don't know if I can eat that. It's disgusting. Right? That's why it's called Fear Factor. So they get an Asian on that show, that second round, that Asian person gonna show up with a smile and his chopsticks. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, I had that for breakfast. They'll look over at the white guy and be like, you don't finish? I eat it for you. My dad likes watching that, and every time he watches Fear Factor, he's always like, oh, that stupid white boy don't know nothing. That got a lot of protein. He's always says, you better get me on that Fear Factor. Like, Dad, I think they got an age limit. You're too old. You don't have a chance for the $50,000, right? So I don't give a shit about the money. I just want the food. Make me young again. Make me a young man. Oh, that's a lot of yelling. But it's good to see a lot of Asian Americans here. That's awesome, and that you guys actually laugh out loud. Oh, because sometimes with the Asian, I just do a show this way. It's like those same, and you react. I was in Las Vegas and I did a show for 500 Korean people for the Korean Business Association, and I'm all like, Koreans, make some noise. They're all like, oh, what are you waiting for me to see where the fucking Chinese at again? Shit. Asians, I tell you. When you're Asian women, you don't really have to join the gym. I can travel the world. I can walk into any gym because, see, most Asian women are named Grace Lee. So I can go into any gym. They're like, what's your name? I'm like, Grace Lee. They're like, Okay, go on in. And yeah, I know they have your picture on file at some of the gyms. That don't fucking matter. As long as she's between 18 and 50, right? I'm in. And one girl asked me, she's like, Tina, does your face get red when you drink? You know, and I'm like, yeah, it does. And she's like, what do you do to not get red? And I'm like, I like it being red. You know, it's a signal. Hello, guys, hit on me. I'm drunk. Or it's my excuse to act more crazy. But sometimes I'll admit it, I do want to get laid, but I don't want the guy to know that. So when I'm out with him, and he's talking, I just start drinking a lot of alcohol. And then I realize, oh, well, fuck it. I'd rather have him think I'm an alcoholic than a whore. And then when I put out, I'll go, I don't do that, I was just drunk. Thank you. The other girls are like, I'm doing that right now. Don't tell him. Thank you. Thank you very much. So how'd you guys hear about my show? You two.
Gold Star events.
Oh, because you're the cheap fucking Chinese. You know all the fucking Chinese are on Gold Star because it's half price tickets. But that's cool. At least it got my name out there. And you probably got the comp ones, right? No. Thank you. They got the comp ones. That's awesome. Yeah, but I am down with Asian guys. I want to go out with the Asian guy, and I want to marry an Asian guy. It's just Asian guys don't like me. I talk. Thank you. Yeah, see, he's looking at me going, she's talking too much. And see, his girlfriend laughs quiet too. He don't like that. He don't like. You go, girl. I do a lot of colleges, and a lot of Asian American organizations will hire me. And when I went to one for the first time about 5 years ago, it was in Philadelphia. They had all these signs that said it was Asian Awareness Week, you know? And I was kind of shocked. I didn't know that we had a week, you know? Woo! It's like Asian Awareness Week. And I was thinking, what is that on campus? Is it when the the Asian students go up to the white students and be like, psst, are you aware there's Asians on campus? But don't worry, it's for 1 week only. After this week, they go right back to computer programming. You have to see their fucking faces again. It's Asian Awareness Week. And then I lived in New York, it's always the black guys. Black guys are always like, girl, can I be with you? Right? And you're like, excuse me? They're like, can I be with you? They're like, I guess I can call my cousin Chew. And I can ask him. So you Asians, feel free to use that. And you guys are Tim Lee's friend. That fucker, Tim Lee, I booked the fucker because I thought he was Asian. Oh. Turns out he's a white guy. Always trying to pull the wool over the Asian woman's eye. Yes, yes. So are you an Asian lover?
Sure.
Good, good. Because I hate the white guys who deny they're Asian lovers, yet all they have is chopsticks at their house. They take their shoes off. They got a fucking Buddha in their house. They got the Hello Kitty in the front at the door. they're like, I'm not an Asian lover, okay? Even though I taught English in Korea, Japan, and wherever it is, but I'm not an Asian lover. It's all the guys. I'm like, are you an Asian lover? It's like, no, I'm not an Asian lover. It's like, then what are you doing at the Korean church? You know what I mean? They're always in denial. Aren't those Asian lovers? They're freaking sneaky bastards. You guys are good. God. Anybody have any questions for me? I like doing that too. So anything you can think of, you can throw out at me.
What kind of guys do you date?
The muscular ones, hello. That have money, hello. That bring their wallet. Sometimes I'm like, see, on the internet, because I really don't even go on the internet for dating anymore. See, as a woman, if your car's broken, you go on the internet. I'm looking for a mechanic to date. You know what I mean? You have to go online for what you need. So if I go to another town and it's like, one time I was in San Francisco and I know it's expensive to go across the bridge, and then this guy, was a dating service, and I'm like, you want to go to a comedy club? And he's like, sure. And so he drove me to my gig and didn't know it. Gas is expensive, you know what I mean? Gotta do what you can. I show up at the gig, right? And then the other comics are like, hey, is that your boyfriend? And I'm like, no, my ride to work. I just saw Phantom of the Opera. Have you guys seen Phantom of the Opera? That guy is so good looking, the Phantom. I mean, he is hot. If I was that girl, Christina, I'd be like, you're the hottie of the opera, okay? You're no Phantom. They got surgery now. We'll work with it. We'll work. We'll work with that part. It's like, you're not only composing music down here, I see you've been working out too. You know what I mean? You're the hottie of the opera. God, I love that movie. I do live in LA now. I did live in New York. But before I left New York City, I always wanted to eat at an expensive restaurant. And now I realize I'm not an expensive restaurant person because they piss me off and they ask you too many questions when you go to a 5-star restaurant. When you sit down, they don't just bring you water. They're like, you want sparkling water? Do you want still water? Do you want French water? And I'm like, how much is the tap water? Right? They're like, that's still $6. And I'm like, well, give me the cup. I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. And I was there for breakfast, and they asked me, how do I want my eggs? And I'm like, I want it scrambled. And they're like, no, do you want free range, cage-free, omega-3 induced, vegetarian? And I'm like, look, I don't care if the chicken is raped or murdered. Really, I really can't tell the difference when I eat my fucking eggs. They're scrambled eggs. I don't know. I'm low class. I'm not high class. I think only the rich people, high class people, taste eggs and they know the difference. They'll be at a restaurant like, waiter, take these back, okay? Tastes like they came from a chicken that was depressed. And I don't have time for that.
You have a boyfriend?
No, I'm single and in a depression. My heart's broken by an Italian fucker. No, this Italian guy fucked me up, and he's got this heavy Italian accent, but I'm like, thank God I got a joke out of that bastard, you know what I mean? At least I got that out of it, because I don't do phone sex. But this guy called me. He lives in New York, and he called me, and he's got this heavy accent. It's like, oh, Tina, you want to have the phone sex? And I was thinking, he's got such a heavy accent, it's hard for me to even understand him. And it's like, I should be talking in a Korean accent, be like, what? We wouldn't know. But then I was thinking, this guy's like, Tina, you want to have the phone sex? I was like, what's he going to do, Oh, Tina, I'm stroking the pepperoni. That's what I was thinking. It's like, oh, Tina, oh no, the Alfredo sauce, it's a-coming. I know, isn't that a crazy joke? But at least I got that from him. I forgot where I was going before that one. Oh, I remember. Here's another thing I noticed. When you go to the grocery store, the Ziploc bags, did you notice how Ziploc bags, they don't just have the plastic bag, they always try to improve the bags. And I just noticed a new bag, it's the gripper zipper with the grip lock, okay? And it's a plastic bag, and I'm thinking, what is so damn important that you want a lock on it? You know what I mean? Like, my strawberries are gonna get loose, I need a fucking lock on that shit, you know? I need a lock on the plastic bag. Because I'm thinking, what kind of an anal ass is buying a plastic bag with a lock on it? Think about it, right? And I was actually thinking, who's gonna buy that fucking variety pack, you know? The variety pack freezer bag with the lock. And I realized they're marketing to serial killers. That serial killer walks down the aisle and be like, finally! Okay, I buy these freezer bags, variety pack. I could put some toes in the little bag, you know, and I could put the head in the large bag. Fucking seal that shit up, put it in the freezer, right? Cops might find me, but they won't get into it. There's a lock on it. And then there's the Nutri-Grain twists. It's twisted now. I'm like, I didn't eat that shit when it was flat. You know what I mean? Woo, now that it's twisted, it tastes good. Got any other questions? My brain is going crazy. Got any other questions for me? You could throw it out at me.
What are your thoughts on life in LA versus life in New York?
Oh, the difference is I am single, but nobody asked me out. It's because I'm too intimidating. That's what I like to tell myself. Isn't that a losers always say that? I'm single by choice. It's not true. I'm single because I'm pathetic, you know? I'm not stupid. I don't say things like I'm too intimidating. Who knows what it is? I don't know. But the difference is when you live in New York, at least guys will buy you drinks if you're at a bar, right? When you go to LA, nobody will buy you a fucking drink, you know? A guy will talk to me all night and I'll be like, he won't be buying me a drink. He just get himself. He's like, are you all right? I'm like, no. But that is the difference when you live out there and do that. People ask me if I go out with black guys. I don't know. I never have. I'm scared. You know, I'm Asian. I'm little. I don't need to be tore up from the floor up. Why are you like, oh? How'd you guys hear about my show?
Craigslist.
Sweet. No, good. I'm glad. Are you an Asian profiler? You are an Asian profiler?
I'm not sure, but they've been telling me so.
Really? Well, let's see your arms. Take it off. Let's check out the upper body. That's all that matters sometimes.
They found it.
You mean your friend? I thought I saw you on Friendster there for a while. I did bring my first comedy CD I made a couple years ago. It's called I'm Not Fucking Chinese. And so if you guys want to get that from me tonight and support me in my comedy, I'll sign it for you. And I do need your support because I produce my own shows across the country. I rented out this place. I pay them to do this and hope that people like you show up. So it's important that you go to my website and register with me. That's the only way I can let you know if I'm coming to your town. And hopefully I'll make it big one day so we can, the stomach will be in style. And then everyone will love me. And then I'll have a boyfriend one day. And if you know anybody single, you can let me know. But remember the criteria. He has to have his wallet. He has to be buff. And he has to call me back because I'll fuck me up, you know what I mean? And don't make him to be too ugly. I did my Fear Factor joke. I'll do my Survivor joke for you guys. Back 6 years ago, I always wanted to be on Survivor. And on Survivor as well, they didn't pick Asian Americans on Survivor. They kind of don't either, because remember, if they do, you eat everything. There was that Asian bitch eating the bones and shit, remember? Because Asians don't suffer when they're on Survivor for some reason, you know? Because the first couple years on Survivor, they didn't pick an Asian, because the only food they gave people was white rice. You see what I mean? Because you get an Asian on there, they're like, I ain't suffering, okay? I've been eating that morning, noon, and night for 30 years. Okay, my diet ain't gonna change on this island. That's why they didn't pick Asians. And I actually filled out the application back when Survivor first started. And at that time, they said you could bring a luxury item. I was like, whoo, that's easy. I'm going to bring the soy sauce. You know what I'm saying? I know we're going to have rice. I got to be prepared. But I'm not going to bring that big gallon that my mom has in the kitchen, that big-ass Kikkoman sauce. It's like, you know, that your mom has like 30 gallons. I don't know why we need that much soy sauce. But I don't want to be the girl on Survivor with that big tank going, hold on, everybody, I got that soy, hold on, you know. That's my luxury item. I'll be smart about it. I'll go to the Chinese restaurant and I'll get those little packets, right, of the soy sauce, and I'll tape it all over my body, just like it's all over. And then I'll get on the show. And then when they give me my portion of white rice, you know, I'll be like, oh, okay, and then I put it on. And then the white people on the show, they'll be like, oh, can I have some? I'm like, fuck you, you should have been prepared. You knew we were gonna have rice. I ain't sharing this with you. Anybody have any other questions to throw at me? Yeah, a little bit. I only know the bad words. My mom taught me. No, but that is the truth, though. I can curse out people in Korean. I was on a show on MTV. It was called The Bunker Project. They picked 6 people and put them in a bunker in case the world ends in the year 2000. And of course, I got picked. I was the only Asian person. So they kept going, oh, Tina's the Asian. Tina should share her Eastern culture values with her Westernized roommates. And I was like, that's fucking rude. You know, what the hell do you want me to do down in the bunker? Open up a dry cleaners or something? Jesus Christ. You know, piss me off, you know what I mean? Wasn't it enough I did the girls' nails and gave the guys a fucking massage? You guys are a great, awesome crowd. That's true. So how did you guys hear about me? Because it's like only one Asian person has to hear about me, because, you know, they go out in groups. It's that one guy. All right, woohoo! You and I tonight, baby. That's true, because sometimes they're like, how'd you get all those Asians to your show? I'm like, I just invited one fucker, you know what I mean? Asians don't go out alone. I don't know why. You know, I guess because we're little and we need protection. Such a I have 2 older sisters. I have an older brother, but I don't do any jokes about them because they'll beat me up. Yeah, I just stick with my mom and dad. And I told you earlier how my parents think, and it was fun because I did my show in Seattle. I let my parents come finally, and you know, people were all laughing, like, you know, going, "Does your dad really talk like that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then I'm like, "Come on, Dad." And then my dad's like, "You numbnuts, you idiots!" You know, and then everyone just went crazy. And I'm like, I gotta take my dad on tour with me so I can tell everyone to fuck off and to go to hell. Well, there's only a few Koreans here, though. Curse in Korean? I don't know. It's like 죽고 싶어? That means you want to die, fucker. My mom has said that to me. That's how I know it, though. Think about it. Where would I have learned Korean from? From my fucking mother. But it's the craziest thing with Korean moms. It's like, my parents, I don't expect them to give me any money or anything, but it's like, she always has money for plastic surgery for me. I don't know what it is. I'm home and she's like, look, we're going to help you. When you want a facelift, you let us know. You should have heard her all 3 days I was there. You want to get a nose job? You want to get your eyes lifted? And I'm like, when are you going to give me the liposuction, bitch? I don't want none of that. I want liposuction. And she's like, you got to do the cocaine. My goal is to get on a TV show or get a talk show or something like that, and then get a husband. You know, and that's what I want. I'm so depressed. Send me your webcam invitations. I'm very lonely. It's tinakim.com. No, I swear to God, I'm always online. Find me on MySpace. Find me on Yahoo Instant Message. And send me an invitation. You know, I'll be around. So I'm serious, tinakim.com. Send me a request, I'll add you, I'm lonely. But please do support my comedy and my CD, and please come check out my website and join my fan club, because that's the only way I can let you know, and please let your other friends know, because I will be coming back to San Francisco again next year. You guys have been great. Thank you so much for making me feel so good. All right? Thank you, you guys are awesome.
Give it up for Tina Kim, ladies and gentlemen.